This is Booked for Drama, where stories burn, hearts break, the tea is always hot and never a part 2. Today we're diving into Bird breaking free from its cage. Let's go. Chapter 1. I woke up to see my best friend, Rita. Looking super stressed, she told me not to feel bad. She said, your body is your own, even if you're divorced. Life goes on. She said the kids are with Zach now, but they're not suffering, and there's no point fighting for custody. Besides, I probably wouldn't win. I blinked, confused. After a long pause, I asked, wait, who's Zach? Rita went still, totally stunned. Then she jumped up to call the doctor. The doctor explained I had post-traumatic memory loss. Rita quickly asked, how old are you now? I thought for a second, 18? I just finished the college entrance exams yesterday, didn't I? Rita burst out laughing. She crouched down, hugging her belly from laughing so hard, even pounding the bed. Celine, this amnesia is god tier. Yes, you're 18. 18's perfect. No Zach, no kids, just us. I was even more confused. Chapter 2. Rita brought me home once she was sure my memory wasn't coming back. She gave me the basic rundown. I'm Celine. I fell in love freshman year with some broke dude named Zach. We dated for 10 years, from 18 to 28. I helped him start a business, ate ramen with him when we were broke, gave birth to his kids, and took care of his parents. Then this year, he took me to court and divorced me. Huh? What? I was shook. Like, what kind of tragic soap opera is this? After a long moment, I asked, voice trembling, so you're telling me? I was basically this guy's unpaid maid for 10 years. And then he kicked me out at 28. Rita nodded solemnly. You have 2 kids, a son, 6, a daughter, 4. But since you were a full-time housewife and didn't make any money, the court gave full custody to Zach. What? I raised them and now I don't even get to keep them? Even though I didn't remember any of this, it still felt awful. I was almost in tears. Then Rita started laughing again and patted my shoulder. Hey, cheer up, at least you've got money. I sniffled, cautiously hopeful. How much? Rita sat up straight. Celine, listen carefully. You got 20% of Zach's assets. That includes 10% shares in 3 publicly listed companies and 2 courtyard mansions in central Beijing. Total value around 1.9 billion yuan. Silence. Processing. Then I asked, tentatively. Rita, you're not messing with me, right? If I'm lying, I'm a damn dog. That day, I stared out the window. Dazed. I'd forgotten the last 10 years. I didn't know what kind of life I had lived. But Rita said I was rich. And when I was 18, my favorite thing in the world was money. So honestly, this didn't sound so bad. Chapter 3. Rita took some time off work and spent the next few days dragging me around for all the asset transfers. I never saw that so-called Zach she mentioned. For all the divorce property stuff. He just sent his lawyer. After nearly a month of paperwork, Rita helped me list all the properties under my name for rent. She did the math. Monthly rental income was around 1.2 million yuan. That day, I stared at the endless string of zeros in my bank account. Then I looked up at the mirror and saw this 28-year-old version of me. Perfectly made up and dressed. I scratched my head. Not bad at all. Chapter 4. With nothing to do at home and Rita busy working, I spent my days gaming at her place. At lunch, she'd order takeout and get me a portion too. She usually came back late. Totally wiped out. She'd throw herself on the couch like she'd lost the will to live. I'd drop my controller and give her a shoulder massage. Apparently my hands remembered how. Turns out I was really good at it. After resting a bit, Rita sighed. Zach's a freaking scumbag. Right after you graduated, you worked for him for free. His mom was sick, and after your own job, you still had to massage her every night. She kept ranting and then flicked my forehead. Celine, you're such a pushover. The moment I'm not watching you, you let those people walk all over you. They treated you like that because they knew you were a girl no one cared about. I rubbed my forehead, feeling a little wronged, but I don't remember any of that. I only remember you. Rita paused, then grinned. Exactly. It's good you forgot. As long as you remember me, we're good. I won't ever bully you. I believed her because Rita and I grew up together. We were both raised in an orphanage. Since we were little, I followed her everywhere. Rita would fight for snacks for me, wash my clothes, look out for me. Later, when we were older, she helped me with schoolwork. She's a year older than me. During my senior year of high school, she was already in college. She called me every day to push me to study hard. She wanted me to get into the same college as her. But Rita's score was way too high. I studied like crazy, but still couldn't make it into Peking University. When the results came out, I hugged her and cried. She bumped me on the head. Why are you crying? A score of 666. That's insane. Nothing to cry about. She patted my head. You did amazing. And then I left for Shanghai. Still crying. Chapter 5. Rita still regrets it to this day. She said, I never should have let you go to Shanghai. If you hadn't gone to Shanghai, you wouldn't have met Zach. And if you never met Zach, I jumped in. Then I wouldn't have gotten that 1.9 billion. Rita put her hands on her hips. What's more important, the money or those 10 years of your life? I tried to guess the correct answer. The money? Rita groaned in frustration. You are. If you're not happy, all that money is worthless. Thank God you lost your memory. Otherwise, if you'd been depressed and done something stupid, what use would the money be then? At least it could buy me a really nice grave plot. Rita let out a laugh. Half angry, half amused. Get out. Rita's always been amazing. Still is. She's the general manager of a multinational company now, making around 400k a month. But she's always swamped, lots of business trips, and she's worried about leaving me alone. So she started bringing me along. Then one day she figured, Since I'm taking her everywhere, why not make her work for me and stop wasting my own money? So she hired me as her assistant. This was my territory. I'd read at least a dozen CEO falls for his assistant novels in the past few months. On my first day, I strutted into the office in a sleek pencil skirt. Full of confidence, I made coffee, prepped her documents, ran around like crazy. I looked like the poster child for hardworking newbie. Rita just laughed and told me to calm down. Handed me a spreadsheet and said, Sabrina will guide you. Just start with this. Take your time. No rush. Got it. On it. And just like that, I officially started working. Chapter 6. Every day, I commuted with Rita, following her to and from work. I didn't have a lot to do, so I usually clocked out early. But Rita? No chance. Her workload was insane. I always waited for her in the break room after finishing my tasks. One day, she caught me watching online classes on my phone and suddenly asked seriously, Celine, do you actually want to study? I do. I had amnesia. There were so many things I didn't know how to do. Every time I messed up, I felt defeated. When I was a kid, Rita was my role model. She still is. I wanted to be just like her. Cool, capable, and always in control. So Rita signed me up for classes. Every day after work, I'd drive over and attend. It was a structured project management course, with some business software training mixed in. I filled up 2 entire notebooks with notes before it finally started to click. Oh, so that's how it works. After I finished that course, Rita enrolled me in a finance and accounting class. I studied for a whole year, and suddenly it all made sense. Turns out, this is what competence feels like. Chapter 07. After a year at work, Rita started letting me tag along with Sabrina to client meetings. Sabrina was 3 years younger than me, a project manager with the sweetest personality. She spoke softly, always looked out for me. One time, after wrapping up a meeting, she bought herself a coffee and came back with an ice cream for me. I happily dug into it. And she laughed. Rita told me you're 29. I never believe it. Celine, you're literally like a kid. Hardworking and obedient. I thought for a moment. Then solemnly told her, actually, I have 2 kids. Don't lie. We've worked together for over a year and I've never even seen your husband. Divorced. Girl, you look like a teenager. Well, technically I'm a young divorcee. Sabrina was stunned. She didn't believe it. I laughed. Honestly, I barely believed it either. I mean, I just finished the college entrance exam. How could I be 29? But I'd been living well these past 2 years. I did look younger now. Right after the divorce, I looked awful, totally drained. But apparently, wealth heals all things. After I got out of the hospital, Rita dragged me into an intense skincare routine. She also said I was too weak and signed me up for a self-defense class. The 18-year-old me had always followed Rita's lead. If she said go east, I'd never go west. She said martial arts. I didn't even consider taekwondo. We hired a private chef for my nutrition. Over time, my body recovered, and honestly, I started glowing. Thanks to amnesia, I had no worries. I had money, didn't need to work, ate well, slept great. Heck, even my hair grew thicker. This past year was honestly the happiest I could remember. With no chaotic memories from the past 10 years, my 18-year-old brain was soaking up new knowledge stress-free. And Rita was always there, supporting me, guiding me, but maybe life thought I was getting a little too comfortable. Because that day, while Sabrina and I went to a meeting, we ran into a man. Chapter 08. The meeting that day was confidential. So Sabrina told me to wait downstairs at a cafe. I sat with a book and some ice cream, reading peacefully. Halfway through, I felt someone watching me. I looked up. There was a man in a sharp suit, brows furrowed, staring right at me. He looked oddly familiar, but I couldn't place him. Later, when Sabrina finished, I grabbed the coffee I had ordered for her and walked over. Just as I passed by the man, I heard him say, "So now you pretend you don't know me?" What a weird thing to say. I glanced at him, but didn't stop, just walked out with the coffee. But he followed me. "Celine, you're not even gonna say hi?" I turned back. Sabrina turned with me. When she saw him, she smiled. Long time no see. He ignored Sabrina. His eyes were locked on me. I looked at him again. Wait, was this guy Zach? I whispered to Sabrina. Is that Zach? Yeah, you know him? I think he's my ex-husband? Sabrina looked stunned. She glanced at me, then him, then me again. Zach stared at me. After a moment, I held out my hand. Hi. He didn't shake it. Instead, he looked at me with contempt and mockery. Celine, you really fooled me. I thought you were some loving mother. You fought so hard for Sophia and Lucas in court. Then you got the money and never looked back. Not even a single visit. Good thing the kids didn't end up with you. Someone like you has no business being a mom. An unfamiliar sadness bubbled up in me. But it passed. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't even remember what Sophia or Lucas looked like. Then he said, Celine, you better show up this weekend. Otherwise, don't even dream of seeing Sophia and Lucas again. He walked away, leaving behind a confused Sabrina and me, deep in thought. Chapter 9. That night, back home, I heard for the first time from Rita what had really happened with my kids. They're both really smart, she said, but Zach was starting his business back then. And you were working too. You went back to the office right after giving birth. The kids were raised by their grandparents. So, they never got close to you. Rita hesitated, then continued, when you divorced, you could have gotten 50% of the marital assets. But you signed a deal with Zach. You only took 20%. On the condition that he never remarries and leaves everything to the kids. She paused again, voice softening. You carried those kids for 10 months. You loved them like crazy. But it didn't matter. They don't like you. The day I came to pick you up, I saw them yelling at you. Saying you did nothing and still took 20% of Zach's wealth. Told you to return it. You just stood there, saying nothing, until they got so angry they threw a glass cup at you. She didn't finish, just sighed and pulled me into a hug. Celine, don't remember, okay? We're doing fine now, happy, let's just stay that way. I nodded seriously. Okay, I don't want to remember either. But, she added gently, if you want to see them this weekend, it's okay, we can't avoid it forever. I'll go with you, no one will hurt you. I looked up at her and nodded again. Honestly, it wouldn't matter even if I didn't go. I'd forgotten everything anyway. Sure, it stung a little when she brought it up. But now, I just felt numb, maybe just a little curious. Curious what they even looked like. Chapter 10. Rita came with me that weekend. When Zach opened the door and saw her, he instantly frowned. He probably didn't like Rita. Of course, Rita didn't like him either. Zach told me to come in, but tried to block Rita from entering. I panicked and immediately ran back, sticking close behind Rita. Honestly, I was a bit afraid of Zach. He was tall, like really tall, and intense. Plus, I couldn't remember anything about him. I clung to Rita. If she wasn't going in, neither was I. Zach's face dropped instantly. Celine, if you want to see the kids today, you come in alone. Then forget it. I'm not going. I shook my head like a rattling toy. Terrified. What was wrong with this man? I grabbed Rita's hand and turned to leave. Zach let out a bitter laugh. What's that supposed to mean? Celine, am I that scary? Yes, absolutely. He was close to 9 meters tall, built like a wall. He looked like one punch from him would glue me to the wall forever. I stood firm. I'll only go in with Rita. Zach's face darkened. Rita just stared him down, completely unfazed. In the end, Zach moved aside. Fine, come in. The living room was big. In the center sat a little boy, maybe 7 or 8. He looked just like Zach. He gave me a cold look as soon as our eyes met. That had to be Lucas. Next to him sat a little girl, probably Sophia. She looked at me with wide eyes, a little curious. Are you mommy? I nodded. Sophia tugged her brother's sleeve. Brother, mommy looks really pretty now. The boy snapped. Shut up, don't call her that. She's not our mom anymore. She doesn't care about you or me. She stopped dad from remarrying. She won't let us have a new mom. She's a bad person. She's crazy. Whatever hope I had disappeared instantly. But I didn't feel as sad as I thought I would. I still couldn't remember them. They looked familiar, sure, but deep down, they were strangers. It was like 2 vaguely familiar kids were yelling at me. I wasn't angry, just bored. Chapter 11. I stayed at Zach's house for half a day. Lucas ignored me. Sophia was too scared to talk to me. What stood out most to me that day wasn't the kids. It was how good the food was. Even the housekeeper was young and efficient. She looked about 20-something. Really pretty, and had this clean, graceful vibe. And her cooking? Fantastic. I even thought about poaching her. This housekeeper's a hidden gem. Until I saw her swaying her hips and trying to feed Zach strawberries. Rita's face darkened. She leaned over and whispered. What the hell is she showing off for? That's the mistress who came between you and Zach. Her name's Luna. She's your junior from college. 2. All that education. And she ends up playing side chick. Pathetic. Rita was fuming. I rubbed my nose, feeling a little guilty. Honestly, I hadn't exactly been ambitious back then either. I was a love-struck idiot. But once I realized I couldn't poach the housekeeper anymore, I mourned the loss, then quietly got myself another bowl of rice. Halfway through dinner, Rita got a call. She glanced at me. It seemed serious, probably urgent. I immediately reassured her. I'm fine. I'll head home later. Go take care of it. Celine, I'll be back in 40 minutes. Just wait for me. She left in a hurry. After dinner, Zach glanced at Luna. And she got the message. She took the kids upstairs. It was just me and Zach in the living room. I checked the time. Rita would probably be back in 15 minutes or so. I started planning my escape route in case Zach hit me. Would the self-defense classes work? Not really. I'm barely 7 meters tall and kind of skinny. I'd get folded like laundry. When Zach reached out his hand, I bolted. I couldn't make it out the front door. So I ran into the nearest room and locked it. From inside, I heard keys jangling. Panic set in. If you come in, I'm calling the police. Through the door, I heard Zach. Furious. Celine, what are you afraid of? We were together for 10 years. Married for 7. You still think I'd hit you? I broke down and screamed. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Just go. His voice lowered outside the door. Celine, what happened to you? Why are you like this? Did someone hurt you? Get lost. Don't come near this room until Rita's back. He sighed. Celine, how can you be so heartless? A whole year's gone by and you haven't visited once. If you begged me today, just once, I might have taken you back. I was done. I covered my ears and shouted. Shut up. Just go away. He paused. Then his footsteps slowly faded. I sat against the door, gripping a pair of scissors. Finally able to breathe. Rita had told me a lot about my past with Zach. According to her, I was crazy in love with him. When he cheated, I refused to divorce him. I just kept screaming and fighting. When he pushed for the divorce, I tried to end my life to stop him. But it didn't work. He hired the best lawyers in the country and still left me. Rita said I loved him so much I forgot myself. Loved him to the bone. But ever since I lost my memory, I never felt sad when I saw Zach. Only scared. He was so tall, so cold, so cruel with his words. I couldn't understand how I ever loved someone like that. I was abandoned at an orphanage as a child. I grew up overly cautious. Terrified of being hurt. Even a small wound could destroy me. I spent my whole childhood with just one friend, Rita. So how could I have loved someone like Zach so fearlessly? I don't know what happened before. But right now, I know one thing for sure. I'm genuinely afraid of him. After visiting Zach's house, I had nightmares for days. Every night, he was chasing me in my dreams. Later, Rita asked if I wanted to see him again. I shook my head instantly. No way. He looks like the freaking Grim Reaper. I get chills just thinking about him. Rita burst out laughing, laughed so hard she teared up. My poor Celine, baby, I promise, no one will ever hurt you again. From now on, life's only going to get better. Obviously, I'm a woman with 1.9 billion yuan now, but Rita must have noticed how Zach had affected me. My mood had been low lately. So she switched things up. Started assigning me tons of work. I began working overtime. One night, I stayed at the office until 2 a.m. When I finally finished, I leaned back in my chair, completely drained. I wanted to die on the spot. Zach didn't even show up in my dreams anymore. Now it was just work. Work all day, work all night, even in my sleep. I went to complain to Rita. She teased me, grinning. Oh, can't keep up? Everyone else finishes their tasks. You sure it's not a work ethic problem? I grabbed her collar and shook her violently. Damn you, capitalist demon. Okay, chill. We've got a 9-day break coming up for National Day. I'll take you on a trip. We went to the beach. Rita was scared I'd wander off and bought me a GPS smartwatch. I love the ocean. When I was 18, I used to fantasize about wearing a cute bikini and playing in the waves. But once we got there, I wasn't happy. There were scars on my stomach. Ugly ones. I felt upset. Told Rita, they're so ugly. Why did I even do it back then? I went through all that pain to give birth. Rita crouched down and stroked my hair. Don't think like that. You were young. You loved bravely. They betrayed you. But that's not your fault. She was right. I still wanted to wear that bikini. So I dabbed some foundation over the scars. It didn't fully cover them. But I didn't care anymore. We went to a private beach. Paid good money. So there weren't many people. That day, I happily ran into the sea with Rita. We played for hours. I even picked up a huge, beautiful shell from the shore. But when I turned around, I saw Rita's face darken. I followed her gaze. Zach. He was standing there with a smirk. Celine, I really thought you changed. But after a year, here you are again, trying to seduce me with your little games? Disgusting piece of, I muttered. Rita snorted, half laughing. Come on, let's go. We started walking off the beach. I didn't even want to look at him again. Until Zach came closer. He loomed over me, and I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't scared anymore, but I was angry. How dare someone like him be the one who ruined me? I looked up and smiled. What, you here too? Zach looked down, voice low. You forgot? This beach belongs to me. There weren't many people around. Rita instinctively tried to pull me away, but I shook her off. I beckoned. Zach leaned in and touched my waist. His eyes scanned my body. I kept smiling. He came closer, and right when he got close enough, I smashed a rock into his head. He didn't even react in time. Stumbled, then I kicked him right in the groin. He collapsed. I gripped that rock and kept hitting him. Once, twice, over and over, straight to the head. He couldn't even fight back. I started hitting his body too. Finally, Rita grabbed me and pulled me back. Celine, stop. If you keep going, you'll kill him. And just like that, the tears started falling. Rita, I whispered, I remember how I met him. Chapter 13. I first met Zach because I was being bullied. And he saved me. He was just 19 then. Young and reckless, like a hero crashing down from the sky. He pulled me behind him and smashed a brick over the guy's head. After that, I was the one who pursued him. I confessed. In winter, I brought him flowers. He said yes. Back then, he taught me, if someone bullies you, grab a brick and hit them. The autumn wind rustled through the leaves on campus. I turned to him and asked, so, I should hit anyone who bullies me? Of course, whoever bullies you, you hit them back. And what if one day, it's you who bullies me? Then beat me to death. I won't blame you. Celine, I love you. That young Zach and the Zach in front of me suddenly overlapped in my mind. He was lying there on the sand, head bleeding, but laughing silently. Celine, so you were afraid of me because you forgot. I knew it. I just knew. You'd never fear me. You loved me so much. Celine, now that you've let it out, why don't you come home with me? You don't like them? I'll kick them all out. I'll take the blame. Let's get back together, okay? Rita froze when she heard that. Her voice trembled. Celine, I smiled, looked at Zach lying there, then smashed another rock onto his head. You piece of shit. Zach, why don't you just go die already? Zach laughed. Celine, the fact that you hate me this much means you still love me. Love your effing mother. A good ex-husband should be like a dead man. Never appear again. Celine, don't go. I love the way you are now. Just like in college. Beautiful, brave, pure. I grabbed another rock and whacked him again. You want to relive the past? Go die and start over in your next life. I stood up, brushed the sand off my legs, and turned to leave with Rita. Rita looked worried. Celine, you think he'll call the cops? Let him. Worst case, I go to jail. 2 years tops. It's not like I'm trying to be a civil servant. What do I care? Rita choked up, sighed. Celine, how much have you remembered? Up to 23. I remember college now. 18-year-old Celine was scared of everything. But 23-year-old Celine? She was fearless. Because that year, Zach's business went under. Debt collectors came knocking, day after day. And when things got ugly, they threatened the kids. To protect the children inside the house. I held a stun gun in one hand. A kitchen knife in the other. The bold fear the weak. The reckless fear the insane. And I was that insane one. I was a mother. No one was allowed to hurt my kids. Not unless they killed me first. In the end, those men backed off. They never dared come close again. Maybe that was the bravest version of me. Young, unafraid of death, afraid of nothing at all. Chapter 14. After the National Day holiday, I returned to work with Rita. She'd been worried I might cause drama after regaining my memory. Maybe demand to go back. But I didn't. I kept showing up to work. Doing my job like always. Diligent and dependable. She watched me for a few months. Once she was sure I wasn't going to spiral, she went right back to exploiting me guilt-free. One night, I worked overtime until 2 a.m. and looked at her with dead eyes. Seriously? We've been best friends since childhood. Are you really treating me like a mule? She patted my shoulder. You joined the labor force. You think I'm still gonna treat you like a person? I was like a cursed soul wandering the 18th level of hell, lifeless. Drifting between departments. But that wasn't even the most annoying thing. What really drove me crazy was Zach showing up every other day to block me outside. Sometimes he brought the kids. The first time I saw Lucas again, I was genuinely surprised. I walked up to him. You've grown so much. Lucas turned away, annoyed. I didn't mind. I looked at him softly and said, I used to hold you when you were tiny. You cried day and night. I kept thinking, why are you so fussy? Must be karma, but I still loved you so much. I could never. The end. And that's a wrap on today's reading here at Booked for Drama. If you felt anything, rage, swoon, secondhand heartbreak, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow drama lovers. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments. Until next time, keep reading, and keep the drama on the page.